The problem with Tesla stock. Okay guys, so in this video we're going to talk more about Tesla stock and one of the problems that I think Tesla will run into in the future and give you guys my future price prediction. So as you know, like most EV stocks have really done so far in 2020, Tesla has absolutely crushed it. So the stock is up over 750% over the last 52 weeks. Just phenomenal growth for Tesla. And the stock itself year to date is up over 500%. So everybody's thinking, well, what's wrong with Tesla? You know, everything's going great. The company just passed $500 billion. It's going to be including the S&P 500. But at these types of growth rates, I think it's really important to kind of take a view on, how fast can Tesla continue to grow. So to do this, guys, we're going to take a look at a couple of I think, issues that Tesla is going to run into in the future. Now, full disclosure, I am a Tesla shareholder. I'm not saying sell your Tesla stock or don't buy Tesla stock, but I think we need to be realistic that a lot of this run up was due to the fact that Tesla was just so far ahead of its competition in terms of electrifying its vehicle base. So first, let's take a look at some of these numbers here. So I use Morningstar.com to take a look at trailing returns. So as we can see here, Tesla stock is up, like I mentioned earlier, over 500% year to date, and over the last year up 700%. And over the last 10 years, the stock has compounded at around 55% annually. That's compared to, I guess you would use the S&P 500, around 14%. So Tesla has obviously outperformed its peers, and it's outperformed, the base market indexes like the S&P 500 and things like that. So the first thing that one of the big issues about Tesla is that a lot of these gains were made during this year where a lot of these electric stocks ran up. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Tesla stock is going to crash or anything like that. I think that this is just the beginning for electric vehicles. But remember now that Tesla was very early pioneer of electric vehicles. Elon Musk was a visionary. He was talking about, selling a lot of electric vehicles back in 2010. So he was really a decade ahead of everybody else. Tesla had been preparing for this kind of surge in EV sales years ago. And that's exactly what I saw with Apple. I see a lot of similarities between Tesla and Apple. So Apple was a pioneer. They came out with the iPod. They came out with the iPhone. They completely changed the game. They completely changed the way we use smartphones. But what also happened to Apple is that the competition notched up a lot. So once Apple started selling all of these iPhones and things like that, a lot of competitors came in. So you have competitors, obviously, in the United States, a lot of US companies started producing swipeable smartphones. And then you had a lot of competition from China, companies like Huawei and Xiaomi, and all of these different companies basically started producing similar types of phones, and even sometimes at a much cheaper price point. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm on an article on znet.com, and it talks about how iPhone unit sales have been declining for 5 years. So basically what I said is, like, I like to use Apple. I think Apple and Tesla are very similar. As you can see here, iPhone sales were increasing, and then the competition kicked up, and then they've been starting to decline. And there's also been some issues in terms of Tesla kind of producing vehicles. So here's another article that's posted on Yahoo Finance. It talks about another safety recall for more than 9,000 Model Xs. So now, what does this all mean? Well, what this means is that right now, Tesla is not dealing with a ton of competition. You've got a lot of companies are working on launching their vehicles. So you've got companies like Fisker planning to launch vehicles in the future. You've got companies like Nikola Motor. You've got companies like Solo. All of these competitors are coming late to the party, but they're going to be there for sure in 2021 and 2022. The consumer is going to have more choices and cheaper choices on where to spend their money when it comes to an electric vehicle. And dealing with a current economy that hasn't fully recovered from the pandemic, Tesla is still a very expensive car for most people. So you've got all these competitors coming into the marketplace. Lordstown Motors is going to release vehicles. So, you've got all these competition at cheaper price points. I think it's obviously these competitors are going to take some of the market share from looking at like a fundamental standpoint. As we go here on Yahoo Finance, Tesla's trading at a PE ratio of 1,000. So most of this profitability is due on selling the regulatory EV credits. What happens to Tesla when that revenue dries up eventually? Because, these credits, aren't going to last forever. They're only able to sell these credits because so many of these other bigger car companies like Ford and GM and stuff like that, they're not meeting government standards. So they have to buy these credits from Tesla. Well, what happens to Tesla when they're not able to sell these credits anymore? Well, if they weren't selling EV credits, Tesla would not be profitable. So Tesla has been using EV credit sales, not actually selling vehicles, to post profitability. If it weren't for those EV credits, they would be posting losses. So I just think that Tesla is in a great spot, but there are a few problems that Tesla is definitely going to have to sort out in the future. When EV credit revenue starts to drive up, when these car companies start to get on board with government standards, Ford and GM are so late to the party, but by 2021, 2022, like companies like Volvo, GM, Ford, they're going to have electric vehicles out there, and they won't have to rely on those credits as much. And when new competitors come to the marketplace, how is Tesla going to respond? So obviously they have some new products in the pipeline like the Cybertruck and things like that, but I just think that Tesla right now just doesn't have nearly as much competition, and they're going to have some headwinds in the future. If they're not able to continue to make money off of EV tax credits, they're going to have to figure out a way to maintain profitability. And the fact that the company's trading at a PE ratio of over 1,000, so it would literally take you 1,000 years to get back your investment in Tesla. So it's earning 52 cents per share, but the stock price is 574. I think this type of growth rate is unsustainable. So I definitely would hold on to my Tesla stock, but I wouldn't expect it to produce 500% year-to-date returns every year. And that, I think a lot of people, and that's one of the things I think a lot of people, when they talk about Tesla, they're not really mentioning. A lot of this growth has come due to just basically lack of competition, and all these competitors are going to be jumping into the marketplace in 2021. They're building factories, they're dealing with pre-orders, and a lot of people are going to think, there's some cheaper options out here. There's some other options in vehicles that I could purchase. I don't necessarily have to get a Tesla to get an electric vehicle. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Tesla kind of responds to the increased competition, and once a lot of that tax credit revenue is going to dry up, because I expect that revenue to decrease in 2021 and in 2022 once more companies get on board. If they're not able to sell tax credits, where is the profits going to come from? But the good thing about Tesla is that they're pioneers, and just like Apple, when they dealt with declining iPhone sales, they came out with more products and they started building up their subscription revenue and their service revenue. Perhaps Tesla will be able to generate revenue other ways. They're going to have to be creative. They're not going to just be able to make it, I think, just on car sales, because the competition is going to heat up a lot. So perhaps Tesla can invest more in autonomous driving, or maybe robo-taxis or something like that. I think that's what they're going to need to do. But I wouldn't bank on this stock returning 500% a year. It's just unsustainable, and there are definitely some headwinds in the future for Tesla. It's just going to be really interesting to see what they do. So now I'll give you guys my price prediction on Tesla and where I think the stock is going in the future. So I've seen a lot of outrageous price predictions on Tesla. They've been saying basically $22,000 a share pre-split and things like that. I had a price target of around $3,000. So that one is all pre-split. So now, post-split around $600. So I think growth is going to definitely slow on Tesla in the future as more competitors hit the marketplace, and, dealing with these potential issues with the tax credit revenue. So I think, Tesla is definitely not going to grow at 55% over the last 10 years as it has with compounded annual growth. If we take a look at those trailing returns, 55%, I expect this number to continue to slowly trickle down over time. So what I'm looking at with Tesla is I still think it's a strong buy, and I still have a pretty strong price prediction. Obviously, with the S&P 500 inclusion, a lot of institutional investors are going to have to buy the stock, but I think it's a bit more conservative on Tesla right now. I don't expect the stock to run up to $1,000 within the next 6 months. So I think around $650 is a reasonable price target. That gives plenty of upside in the stock when institutional investors have to buy it. But it's going to be really interesting to see how Tesla responds next year. A lot of companies are going to be releasing their first batches of vehicles, and a lot of those dollars that have been going to Tesla are going to trickle to some other companies as well. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens, guys. But I think $650 is a solid price target. I would still not sell Tesla stock. Tesla is not a stock you want to dump or anything like that. This is just the beginning of the EV movement. We've got probably another nine years left in this decade, until 2030, when electric vehicles are mainstream, and you're going to really see some huge changes in society. So I would say definitely Tesla stock is solid, but there are some issues here. So just wanted to point those guys out. If you think you're going to get 500% returns every year, not going to be likely. Okay, guys, so that's about wrap things up. So like I said, please smash the like button if you enjoy this content, and let me know what you think about Tesla in the comments. Really polarizing stock Tesla is. Really interesting to hear what you guys say. Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you disagree? Just putting things out there, guys. Let me know what you think, and be sure to smash the red subscribe button to receive more videos on this. I like to cover stocks like Tesla and other EV stocks and other high growth stocks and other industries that can make you a lot of money. So that's until next time, guys. Take care.